interested in supporting issues that help their business, which is quite interesting. They're not interested in the public at all. Just coal and anything that's positive for the 1% is what the Koch Brothers are for. Their interest is not the American people. Their interest is self-serving.
Koch Brothers pay for everything we don't want. Not getting rid of health care, not giving the people to vote the right way, against climate change, everything that all of us want. They make it very difficult just because they have money. It's all about money now. It's not about people who vote. That's why we're here.
Koch Brothers have got enormous amounts of money. They're funding all kinds of organizations that are influencing government, and they just feel too much control. That's what it's all about. Trying to bring people's awareness to the fact that all this money is being infused into buying elections.
A demonstration against the Koch brothers. We donate $150 million to try to pack the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives to people that will vote for their businesses.
As the Koch brothers, if we can highlight them, highlight the problems that they're causing, maybe we'll be one step closer to democracy. And it's just not happening with this current system. And Koch is part of the information process, or the information that's being put out there. They're part of the money in politics. They're part of destroying our American way of life. We've been fooled for a long time about democracy. There's so much buying politicians and their products and their non-green interests, and they're polluting the waters with their corporations, and they're destroying the earth. The world's getting closer to imploding with their help.
Notorious Koch brothers, who are these right-wing billionaires who fund, the climate denial machine, legislation that hurt workers, and basically the ones who basically put money into ALEC, which is this right-wing think tank that basically puts right-wing legislation through Congress, and so it basically supersedes actual democracy, and our politicians end up not serving the people but these billionaires like the Koch brothers. So we're just out here right now protesting and making sure they hear the people and hear that we're angry and that we're not going to let them hijack our democracy.
We're having a party out in front of his house, and you can get involved by knowing that he is in favor of as much oil and gas development in this country as possible. He is one of the leading forces in the climate change deniers movement. And the reason he doesn't believe that fossil fuels create climate change is because he makes lots of money from climate change. And you can get involved by coming on this side of the fence, making sure you don't buy products that are produced by David Koch, writing letters, and letting all your friends know that we don't want this country's becoming an oligarchy. He controls too much of our government.
But they want to push an agenda to make sure that we don't go to alternate sources of energy. That's what they're about. They want us to destroy. They don't care to destroy the environment. All they care about is, I want to make as much money as possible with this oil and gas resources.
The Koch brothers spend a lot of money on influencing legislation in the United States, and most of the legislation that they influence isn't really good for me or any of the ordinary people. They're very big against the environment, and they own a lot of fossil fuel industries. They have an organization called ALEC, which is a perfectly legal combination. Let me give this flyer. Sir? Perfectly legal combination of legislators and corporation owners, but they make templates of laws which they send out to the states. They have a lot of money behind it.
In this building here, 740 Park Avenue, lives David Koch, who is one of the wealthiest men in the world by from oil and the fossil fuel industry. He buys power, and he has been able to suppress. The reason I'm here is because I work with renewable energy, and I'm anti-fracking and anti-tar sands and fossil fuels. And I've watched him and the Koch industries very closely on how he has been able to manipulate our entire democracy for his personal profit.
I'm really not excited about billionaires writing the laws in this country that take away all of our rights just because they think that everything should line their pockets. I have a problem with that. I also work against fossil fuels and for renewables, but I'm not a fan of the stand your ground law either, or taking over small communities, school boards, or trying to shut down public education through museums. I mean, you name it, this guy funds it, and they pretend that it's grassroots and that there's people that are interested from the ground up, and that's not what's happening. They're using their money to buy and write legislation throughout the country, and they own our government, and that's a huge problem to me.
Well, our issue is climate change, global warming, and what we want to do is wake people up to the truth of the matter, which is that climate change is happening because of human behavior, and there are certain individuals like David Koch, whose apartment we're in front of tonight, who are trying to confuse the issue by putting out propaganda, which is the only way to say it, false information about the truth about what we need to do to fix climate change. It's about too much carbon in the atmosphere, and David Koch has made his money by putting carbon in the atmosphere. And so we're trying to get him to please stop it, not only for the sake of his family and his grandchildren, but for all of us. So that's the issue. Climate change is happening. It's at a terribly dangerous point. It's getting worse every day, and our governments have to come together and take serious steps to fix it. And I don't want to get into what we have to do. We have to stop burning fossil fuels. We have to move to renewable energy. All of this information is available on the website. We have to wake up here. So this is a wake-up call to everybody driving and walking here, to the Koch brothers up in their apartments, to say enough. If we care about this planet, if we care about ourselves, we have to stop doing what we're doing in terms of burning fossil fuels. That's the story.
Ok, el tema del cambio climático no es un cambio de futuro, es un problema en el presente. Y desafortunadamente son las comunidades hispánicas y las comunidades, las minorías quienes van a sufrir más y están sufriendo más las consecuencias del cambio climático y las consecuencias de tener una economía que está basada en la destrucción del medio ambiente. Y son las comunidades hispanas y las comunidades minorías quienes podemos unirnos porque sabemos lo que es ser ambiental, sabemos lo que es proteger nuestro ecosistema y somos una parte muy importante más y más del sistema político en Estados Unidos. Así que si alguien te dice que esto es un problema futuro y que es un problema que no te corresponde, no es verdad. Y mira, hay muchas maneras de involucrarse y muchas maneras de comenzar a participar, a ser parte del cambio. Y bueno, y espero que sean las comunidades hispanas y las minorías quienes estén más involucrados en este tema. So this is the first time that I'm outside protesting. And these are my people and I know them very well and I've been involved in climate change for many years. All very positive and all very polite. And I'm very tired of being polite because it's people like this who use money influence in politics to stop all kind of progress that we can do to not only reduce the impact of climate change, but have an economy, a green economy where everybody can thrive. So that's why I'm here. And I believe climate change obviously is not a problem for the future, it's a problem of today. We have experienced already things like Hurricane Sandy in New York City, so we know what it will be like to live under climate change. And unfortunately, it is poor people, it's developing nations, and it's those without access who will suffer the brunt of climate change. So more and more I feel that we have to stop being polite, have the conversations, be out there, and these are important moments where we have to show that even though money definitely has power, so do we.
We're just here at June 5th. It's 2014, about 6:30 or 7 in the evening. We're at 71st and Park Avenue, 720 Park Avenue to be exact, the home of David and Charles Koch, the two notorious billionaires who are buying up all the politicians in the United States. They founded Americans for Prosperity, which is this so-called nonprofit that is funded, has an unlimited budget, and it goes around lobbying all the politicians in the country to get them to sign over to these right-wing viewpoints, like no gun control, they're against Obamacare, they're against environmental regulations, they're, you name it, against public education, they're against women's right to choose. These guys are as far right as you can get, and they're trying to sabotage the democratic process in every state and on the national level. So we're here to try to call attention to that and get people in this community to wake up to the fact that we've got to fight for our democracy.
No, environmentally, they're lacking in concern. There's a film about them, and it shows some of the chemical byproducts of some of the industries that they're running, I think principally in the South. The byproducts have been poisonous, and people have been made ill, they're dying. You can Google it, you can find this out. And now the government, our government, just yesterday or the day before, there was some advice that, well, they will look into the environmental negatives of their operations. Now, the thing is, too, they have all of this money, and this is an aside, and some will think it's not important, but, you know, Lincoln Center, there was the New York State Theater, there was the New York City Opera at the New York State Theater, and it became bankrupt and could not keep going. He, David Koch, gave money enough to give the theater, the New York State Theater, his name. It's no longer the New York State Theater, it is the David Koch Theater, and the New York City Opera is no more. He has all of this and could not donate to keep a cultural operation running in this city. So, all in all, he's lacking in, I feel, responsibility.
We are here today because we believe strongly that in a government for and by the people, and the fact that there's somebody or some people who are making it impossible for my voice to be heard or everyone's voice to be heard is very frustrating. And I'm somebody who believes deeply that the climate crisis is a real problem, and that we really need to start facing that, and that women should have reproductive rights, and that voting rights should be, you know, for everyone. And if somebody is trying to silence my voice or silence other people's voices, I just won't stand for that. So that's why I'm here today.
They shouldn't have a disadvantage. They should have an advantage because of their wealth.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't have. Everybody's voice should be heard equally.
Yes.
I am here outside of 740 Park Avenue demonstrating with people, and because we want Koch Brothers to understand that we're in business and they cannot buy democracy. So we're out here, fighting for our rights, whether it's gun safety rights, whether it's reproduction rights, whether it's democracy rights.
The tar sands from Alberta into the United States border. And so they've lied about that for years now, saying that they don't own it and they don't have any interest in the Keystone Pipeline. But if the Keystone Pipeline is built, all of that nasty tar sand from Canada is going to be moved down to Texas, where all the refineries are. So we get to process it. We get all the take care. Maybe I'll see you out there sometime. So they bring all the dirty tar sand to Texas, where they refine it. So all the pollution, all that nasty stuff that comes out of the refinery is our problem, our pollution that's going to kill us. And who benefits? The multi-billionaire Koch Brothers. So it's a very good time. Democracy is not